My heart goes out to the families of those impacted. I mean, Nancy, I say this every time we've got one of these mass shootings. This just doesn't happen in other countries.
All right. You just saw former President of the United States, Barack Obama, talking about how mass shootings that occur in America just aren't happening in other parts of the world. He said that in Paris on December 1st, 2015, less than a month after Paris suffered under an immense loss of life from a mass shooting and suicide bombing. There were multiple mass shooters and suicide bombers in Paris in November, and 130 people died, and about 400 others were shot and injured. That's massive. That's huge. All in one day. Horrible. That same year in January was when the Charlie Hebdo office was attacked by multiple shooters. And I believe there were 12 that died that day and about 10 or 11 others that were injured or shot. All that happened in 2015 in France, in Paris, when he's making these statements. I mean, he has to be pretty dense to do that, right? To be like, this just doesn't happen in other countries. You're speaking in a country where it literally just happened. Did he forget that everyone changed their little profile images on Facebook to have the little Eiffel and like, I'm praying for France, or I am France and I am Charlie? Did he forget all that stuff from 2015 when he's making these statements in Paris? Here's from Crime Prevention Research Center. France suffered more casualties, that's murders and injuries, from mass public shootings in 2015 than the U.S. has suffered during Obama's entire presidency. Updated, it's 532 to 527 in tables below. Note that these numbers don't adjust for the fact that the U.S. is 5 times the population of France. The per capita rate of casualties in France is thus 8.19 per million, and for the U.S. it is 1.65. France's per capita rate of casualties is thus 4.97 times higher than the rate in the U.S. Of course, there have been many terrorist attacks that have harmed a lot of people that didn't involve just guns. July 14th, 2016, 86 people were killed and another 434 injured after a truck slammed into a crowd celebrating Bastille Day in the southern French city of Nice. The attacker here was also shooting people, but none of the breakdowns of casualties breaks out deaths from the truck, with deaths from being shot. December 22nd, 2014, 10 people were seriously injured when a van drove into pedestrians at a Christmas market in Nantes, France, in the western part of the country. December 21st, 2014, 11 people were injured, 2 seriously, when an Arabic driver yelling Allah Akbar, God is great, drove his car into pedestrians in France. Now, concerning this whole who has more gun death and mass shootings and violence, America or, any other country in the world, as Obama's claiming, John R. Lott wrote an opinion piece for Fox News saying Europe, which has all the gun controls that are being pushed in the aftermath of the Las Vegas carnage, has actually suffered more bloodshed from these types of attacks than the U.S., and his article cites a whole lot of stuff there to support it. You heard that right. Countries such as France may have made all semi-automatic guns illegal, but that hasn't stopped killers from getting fully automatic machine guns to use in mass shooting attacks. All 4 of the 2015 mass public shooting in France involved machine guns, including the 130 people killed in November of that year in multiple attacks, including one at a concert venue. In the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, Europe saw machine gun attacks in airports and nightclubs by groups such as Black September and the Red Army faction. In fact, machine guns are commonly used in mass shootings in the rest of the world. This has not been the case here in the U.S. All right, so they're calling for, after every mass shooting, they call for a ban on semi-automatic weapons, a ban on all sorts of other stuff, more laws, more laws, more laws. But Europe, which essentially has complete gun control laws, for the most part, guns banned for the most part, are suffering way more bloodshed from such attacks. And their attacks largely are done with automatic machine guns, which are already banned in America. So I don't know why people like President Obama, it's a very topic point here, speaking point, to argue for more gun control in America. These sort of mass shootings just don't happen elsewhere. And to be honest, that's just a lie. It's not true. And when President Obama said that in Paris, people should have just been like calling him out. People should have been laughing. People should have been like, what do you think happened last month